Hello and welcome back to another chapter of The Charm Offensive. Now, I think this might be the second last one for the book. I actually don't know, but after I finished this chapter, I was like, I don't feel like there's a lot left. I feel like next week we might have a bit of a shorter one. I would first of all like to say sorry if I look a bit wild with the hair. Not just I just had a shower, and sometimes it's just a bit. But you know what? It feels different than it looks. You and your hair's still a little bit wet. But this week's chapter was... It was a lot. I read it this morning, then went about my day, and it was like constantly on my mind, and I kept like thinking about it. And I kept being like, I don't want to make the video. I'm so excited to keep reading and get to next week's video. So going through it again means I have to stop again. Obviously I could just read it, but I like the kind of schedule I like the way I do it. It kind of makes me really excited for it. But getting that close to the end is really the second last chapter is always really hard. I was like, I'm putting it off because I'm gonna have to get close to it and then not go there. And B, it was just it was a hard chapter at the start for feeling for Dev. Yeah, but I read it this morning and then it just started raining and it feels like the perfect time to get back, cozy time with my guys, my book, the rain. It just feels like an appropriate time to get back to it. I don't know how long this one's going to be though, because obviously I read the chapter before. People know that. I'm have I ever said how I do this? We've done so many of these, and I'm now just how do we... It's been a day. It's that part of the day where my brain's starting to shut off. So if that shows, I apologize, but it also makes for a bit of fun. But hopefully we maybe we slow down a bit. We have a nice, relaxing one. Hopefully I'll get some good chat. There are good bits to read out. Do not get me wrong. Maybe we have a nice mind and soul chapter. Usually we're doing high energy, which I will still go back to because I get too excited to talk about these guys. Maybe a bit of a relaxing. I could just do a. That would be no. I don't know if that would be actually horrible. I don't have the voice for it. I was like, we could do an. Can you still hear me? I was like, we could do an ASMR week, but sorry, I probably just went really quiet and then fucking blew your eardrums out. ASMR is not probably a thing I could do. We could do a week where I could just read. There's so many options with it. I'm just throwing random crap out there. I was literally thinking, I was like, I could read a whole chapter one day and just do that, or we could do one live one time. I don't know. There are a lot of options and things to there's a lot of ways to do it. But for now, we should just get into it. This chapter's different to the rest of them because they're usually, week 8, 9, 10, 11, they don't go up that far. But this one's, I think it's 3 months later. 3 months after filming, we jump in. Oh yeah, like and subscribe. I got to get those things out there. 3 months after filming. Yeah, I definitely feel like this could be a more relaxed one because there's a lot to read out because there's a lot of bits I want to cover because there's just because we've done a time skip, 3 months, but that's a lot of time since the last time they've all seen each other and things have gone down. The one really good thing that we like about the time skip, because there's not a lot. No, the time skip's fine. The things that have happened in between, there's a lot of stuff that hurts. But I'm glad we start with Dev in therapy. Dev got therapy. How fucking good. I'm so excited because I've never been to therapy, but I'm a big advocate for it. I just know I did study psychology, so I feel like I should be a person who obviously likes and enjoys what it can do. But I just even just to have someone to talk to sometimes is brilliant and useful, and there's so much in just getting things out, and especially having a professional who can guide you through things and really help and work with you and personalize. Like, there's a lot friends can do and people you can confide in for those things, but that professional sense really helps. But I'm not here to sell I don't know, people to go to if you need to go, but I'm not doing an advertisement. If the concept of therapy would like to sponsor this video, it should. But other than that, we should just get on reading to a couple of important bits. Alex shifts in their chair. How will things be different once the season is finally done airing? Well, presumably the crew will stop trying to call me and text me and email me every 5 seconds, he starts. Not that he's talked to anyone since Macon. He deleted all his social media, and he deletes every text message sight unseen. Even the ones from Jules, until she stopped trying to reach out altogether. He's built a small life for himself here, living at his parents' house, writing every day in his childhood bedroom, leaving the house only for bi-weekly therapy sessions, and walking his mother's Maltese around the park. But at least it's a life without ever after, without the toxicity and the pretend. Mr. Dev. Yes, Ever After did have quite a lot of toxicity. Well, I mean, it was mostly just Maureen and some of the pitting, the women against each other and making people, okay, there was a lot of toxicity. There's a lot of just bad things, but that's kind of like a reality TV. That's the shtick. But B, I don't think that's the real reason you have left. And I think just completely cutting off your friends is not going to help in the long run. I know I feel like it seems like the option. Oh my god, I'm turking? I'm turning into his therapist. Dev babe, I get it. I really do. But it's so hard because you want them to do what they think is best for themselves. But cutting people off can be a fine thing. Like when you cut people off that should be cut off, that is great. But cutting these people off that care for you and want the best for you and are pushing for different things and agendas, like they want him to stay or they want him to be with Charlie and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, those people are going to be the people you rely on most, and cutting them off, it hurts. It hurts because they really built this cast of characters so well. Like all the secondaries are so good and so important and feel just like a part, like they are so important to this story just as well as fucking Charlie and bloody Dev. Oh my god, I haven't literally my mind's flooding because it's just panicked about Dev. Luckily, I know how this chapter goes, or else I'd be freaking the fuck out. But then we have more here from Alex, Dev's therapist. Alex always sees through his bullshit and always calls him on it. Fine, yes, I'm deflecting. And yes, it's still hard to see him on magazine covers. I still love him. I think I'll always love him. He sets down the stim toy so he can take the cup of tea Alex passes him. He wraps his fingers around the warm mug. If you still love him, why aren't you with him? Because love isn't enough. He doesn't mean to yell, but Alex is used to all his outbursts of emotions. Barely flinches. Love doesn't conquer all. Charlie was our star. I was his producer. Even if it hadn't all gone to shit with Maureen, we never could have been seen together in public. It was stupid to think our story was going to end any other way. And I hope, after the show is over, I can finally feel like I made the right choice. I mean, I know I made the right choice. I chose me, he says, retreating a conversation that had a dozen times across the office. It couldn't work for the show that treated people the way any longer. I couldn't watch Maureen Scott's force. He almost works up the nerve to say his name and swerves at the last section. Her fictional ending. Ever After is problematic, and I had to leave to get healthy. I am healthier. He really is. He didn't even realize how unhealthy he was until he started digging into all the things he'd been ignoring. His depression, yes, but also his dreams of writing, which he pushed aside for the show. His fundamental belief that his existence wasn't worthy of the spotlight. His dependency on alcohol to numb his emotions when things got hard. And his need to please others above pleasing himself. These are the things. I am so glad he is learning these things and figuring these things out and working on them and getting, I don't know, how do we feel about the word health? It's interesting. You're like, yes, I just don't, you're getting, I don't know, I feel like you're getting stronger. Healthier implies some sort of and he is, it's hard to articulate. I don't know. I feel like he's just getting more, he's leveling up. You know what I mean? He's getting stronger. He's getting better. I don't know. I don't really have a problem with healthier. I just feel like it's not where it is for him. You know what I mean? Because healthier can imply just going back to a status quo, I feel like. But stronger is getting better and learning from these things. And I feel like Dev really is. And even if he hasn't started acting on it, to at least acknowledge these things which he never has before, I think is really, really important and fantastic. And it pains us that he's not with Charlie, but obviously I always thought they're gonna end up they have to end up together, or I will fucking riot. I will go to Allison's office and I will riot. But I'm happy for this journey that Dev is going on, because it's something he has really needed for so long. So we finish the end of the therapy session. It goes interestingly. We kind of learn that he still listens to voicemails from Charlie while going to sleep, which kind of crushed my heart a little. There's a lot of things in this chapter that just hurt profoundly. At one point, I did think I was going to cry for a second, and I was ready to pull out my phone and do a little cry vlog. And I didn't get there, but at one point I was just so defeated, and reading this, I was like, oh my word. There's something There's something about books where I feel like they're beautiful and they bring such emotions, but I'm not usually I'm not a super big crier for things. And then the thing with movies is having the people there to see for me visually, and hearing the music they pick, I think really tips me over the edge. The emotion's always there with a book, but that really gets me to the full cry. But after the therapy session ends, Dev walks out, sees Charlie's face on a magazine cover, cries a whole fucking bunch, which I get it, especially when it's you were dating the world's most attractive man and you're in love with them, and you just, they are your everything, and then you've left for 3 months and you don't talk to him, and he goes home and his parents are there, and it's it's just a lot. It's a lot of a lot. And there's 2.5 pages here that I'm going to read out. So we're going to get into it. But it was a lot. It's a very emotional chapter. It's really well written, because it's full of such serious thought and emotion and reflection and character, which I just love so much. In his room, he imagines he'll close the door and somehow feel stronger than he actually does. He'll feel indifferent to the night and the photo to what it is, and to the photo on the magazine cover and everything else. He doesn't though, and instead he pulls the jean jacket out of the closet where he keeps it tucked away, and he climbs into his bed, curls himself into a tight ball, and pulls out his phone. In the first month after Dev left Macon, Charlie called every day, leaving short messages. Small, sad, desperate pleas. Please call me back, I just want to talk. I love you and you love me. It's that simple, Dev. I'm trying to respect your health, but I just can't walk away from us. Hey, it's me, just reaching out. I'm going to keep reaching, Dev. I will never stop reaching. Even though Dev deleted every text without reading it and ignored every phone call from the crew, he would listen to 5-second bursts of Charlie's voice every night before bed. He would play them over and over, bathing in the sound of each syllable sweeping over Charlie's tongue. The messages were never more than 10 seconds, except the last one, which Charlie left 5 weeks ago. That one was 1 minute and 42 seconds, a rambling mess of a voicemail that cuts Dev open every time he thinks of it. Charlie hasn't called since. Dev wants to be strong enough not to listen to it now, but he also wants to be strong enough not to use the oatmeal body wash he orders from Amazon by the crate because smelling like Charlie is a way for those few weeks they had together to feel real. He's come so far with his mental health in the past 3 months, and he thought as soon as he started to get healthy, he would realize Charlie was just a giant self-destructive mistake. He thought getting healthy would naturally mean that the Charlie-shaped sinkhole in his chest would go away. He wants to let go of all those stupid romantic notions. It's so hard. It's so, like, I am not stopping, but I'm stopping for a second. It's just so hard because I feel like he's blind. He's like completely fucking blind to the actual reasons he wants to be in tune with his feelings, but he's like so far unin tune from his feelings. Like, you know, thinking that you'll get healthy and he's a mistake and it would go away. If it doesn't go away, that's because that wasn't the problem, and it wasn't ever the problem. The problem is a lot of the things you think are going wrong, but your heart and everything loves him, and that's not going to just stop easily. So why does he still miss him? And why was Charlie the first person he wanted to call when he signed with an agent to replace his script? And why is Charlie the first person he wants to talk to whenever he has a breakthrough in therapy? Why can't he resist hitting the play button and pressing the phone to his ear? Hey, it's me, again. I know you probably don't want to listen to these messages. I know you probably don't care, and I know I should probably stop. The healthy thing to do is to stop. Jules thinks I should get on a plane and show up at your parents' place and tell you how I feel. She said that's what Prince Charmings would do. I told her that's what a stalker would do. Here, Charlie laughs, as he always does, and the sound pokes at the holes in Dev's heart. If you want to see me, then we would have seen each other. You would have come to LA, except... Did I tell you I'm living in LA now? I mean, we don't talk, so I guess I probably didn't. I have so many imagined conversations with you. In the shower, on the way to the gym, while cooking dinner. I sometimes forget we haven't actually spoken since Macon. But yeah, I bought a house. It's out in Silver Lake, and my neighbors are all hipsters, so you probably would hate it here. But it's the only place for sale that could do a quick closing. It's so weird. After I bought it, I kept walking into rooms and feeling this overwhelming sense of something was missing, so I filled every room with furniture. I let Parisia hang art on every wall, and I bought plants to put in front of every window, and it took me days to realize you were the missing thing. I kept expecting to see you standing by the window, or in the third bedroom at the desk working on your script, or in the kitchen burning pancakes. I guess I really liked the idea of you being in my future, and I haven't quite figured out how to not have you in it. And here the seconds stretch out in silence, static and the faint sound of 3 slow breaths. That was selfish of me to say. This whole message is selfish. I'm glad you never listened to these. I just need to say it, I guess, so I can let you go. So I can learn to let you go. That nearly got me. Not this time because I was prepared, but maybe this time. I don't know. It's just Charlie has come so far, and he's worked so hard to figure himself out more and believe he deserved love, and Dev helped him with that, and he figured out who he was, and he didn't think he would ever love anyone, and he loved someone, and that would have been so much for him. It is so much for him, and for him to think that at one point he was like, no, Dev does love me and I can actually make this work and I can have it. And I think he still can. But then realizing, like, Dev disappearing, I feel like, I don't know, if Dev heard him, like, Dev would have hurt him so much with that, and he should know. I don't know. It's like, it's so hard, and my emotions are all screwed up in this. And, you know, when Dev says, I'm his producer, we could never be in public. Fuck the public. You know, sometimes, you know, you're not, I don't know, you haven't done some heinous crime. Like, yeah, there's like a power imbalance in it, but they've both been, you know, consenting adults, and it's been actually a very beautiful love story that we have been through. You could, like, and like hate's hate, but sometimes you just gotta, like, you know, the love triumphs. I Dev, you fucking idiot. Oh my god. I want to yell at Scream at him and just tell him to go. And I feel like, luckily, we have a band of people here to help in our next bit that we talk about. But, whew, I was ready to jump into the pages. I was absolutely ready to jump in. But Dev falls asleep and wakes up the next morning, and he goes downstairs, I think, and he's like, why the fuck is the whole crew of Ever After in my fucking living room, and why are my parents here entertaining them, and what's going on, and I'm going to have a freak out and I might lose it all. And they're all kind of like, what the actual fuck, dude? You've been ignoring us, which is annoying and rude. You haven't been, like, anything. You practically broke. Parisia was ready to fight, and I was happy about it because I think she should. I wanted her to punch him in the face, and that is not, I don't want that to actually happen, but I wanted her to, like, verbally punch him in the face at least, because Charlie is such a cute little flower, and he did something to hurt him, and I don't think he wanted, and I think, you know, Dev is a pretty little flower too, but, you know, it's just, it's hard. And, like, Parisia is obviously more, everything, I can't finish sentences because everything hurts and is just so fucking wild. And this is great. Like, it's a fair, I was lapping up every little second of this chapter, because I was thinking about what happened, what could happen, and they're like, have you watched it? And he was like, what do you mean? Like, I haven't been answering your text. Why would I be watching Ever After? And they're like, okay, so we're here, and you're going to watch this show. And he's like, what, in the fuck? And he's like, well, you can't talk until we've watched it. So we kind of set up a little watch party. It's all fun. They should have vlogged, done a little reaction channel. I think that would have been great. But we go into it. This season of Ever After is different. We're going to peel back the curtain for you a little bit, give you unprecedented access to what really happens on set. Nothing is off limits. Dev knows several things are off limits, but he is all sucked in by the time the show truly begins. A commercial break, and then Daphne Reynolds is stepping out of a carriage, and Dev is thrown back to that night, embarrassed for Charlie all over again. Charlie's interaction with Daphne is cringy. He's wooden and uninterested, and the secondhand humiliation is so extreme, Dev is about to insist they turn it off when something truly unprecedented does happen. Dev is on screen. He steps onto the shot and waves his hands at the cameras. The boom picks up the words, "Give me 5, before he darts across the shot into the limo. What? Just watch, Jules hisses. I swear to God, and do correct me if I am wrong, that I said in one of my many theories, and I don't remember because I made a lot of them, and there are a lot of videos ago, and going back through them all just to find if I proved myself correct or not, would be hell for me, because I already have to rewatch my ramblings constantly. But I swear at one point I was like, they could edit the season, or they might edit the season and show all footage of them. Am I kind of a genius? / did I say that? If I did, I'm a genius. If I didn't, I wish I had said it, because that's what I thought. But I think I said it. I swear to God I said they'll like do this thing where they show all these like bits of footage that like they got of them, or secret footage. I swear I said something about it, so hopefully someone will remember if I said it or not. But I was reading, I was on my couch reading, I was like kicking my little feet like a little kid. I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, I was like, we're going there, we're getting the good stuff. I'm keeping it together. But I was about to fucking lose my mind. I was so excited. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. When the second episode starts up, instantly, Dev doesn't move from his seat. There's so much footage of Charlie and Dev that he didn't know existed. Footage of Dev sitting beside Charlie the day Megan faked her injury at the jousting quest. Footage of Dev trying to calm him down later that night after Charlie kissed Angie for the first time. Footage of them laughing on set. Footage of them joking between takes. So much footage of Dev fixing Charlie's hair. Through it all, it is still a normal season of Ever After. There are still group quests and women gushing about Charlie and Charlie gushing about the women. All the drama unfolds like it's supposed to, with the women fighting back at the castle, and Megan's perfect turn as the villain, and the suspense of the crowning ceremonies. The editing team has simply gone through and expanded the scope of the show just a little to make room for Dev. All the episodes were flying by. When Charlie has his panic attack with Daphne at the ball and he runs into Dev's arms, it's so obvious on Dev's face that he cares in ways he shouldn't. Watching himself fall in love with Charlie is like falling in love with him all over again. Dev sits in the living room where he first discovered Ever After, and he doesn't move. He doesn't get up to go to the bathroom. He only eats when his mother directly inserts food into his mouth. He watches a scene with Charlie and Angie in Germany he didn't even know existed. I just want Dev to be okay, Charlie says, sounding pitiful. Sweetie, I know, Angie says in return, and America must know too. Dev watches the Leland Barlow night, where the interviews he never saw. Daphne looking giddy. He told me about the plan the other night. I think Dev is going to be really surprised. Angie looking knowing as hell. I think this might be the sweetest thing anyone has ever done for their producer. Then Charlie explains for the audience. Dev, my handler, went through a difficult time in Germany, and I wanted to do something special to cheer him up. The show was going to fly this country singer down to Cape Town, but I was able to change their minds. Oh my God, just like, could you imagine? Could you even fucking imagine getting to, live this crazy life, but getting to fall in love with someone, and then getting to, obviously they don't have everything, and thank God they don't have everything, because or else it would be a different sort of show. It would be a different sort of program. But getting to see yourself fall in love with someone, or just fall in love in general, and getting to watch that, I would lose my fucking mind. Wow. Wow. Oh. Sorry, I don't think I can, quite possibly compute what is going on in my brain. So we're just gonna keep reading before I have a mental fucking breakdown, and I might have to find Alex and book them for a bloody therapy session, because I'm gonna need it after finishing this book. The show abruptly cuts to Charlie sitting on a bed in a hotel room, and it takes Dev a second to recognize it as the hotel room at the Courtyard Marriott, the last place he saw Charlie Winshaw. It's time for me to be honest, he's telling the cameras in a confessional. I came on this show for the wrong reason. I wanted a chance to rebuild my career, and I know now that is what I did is unfair. To the women who came on this show for love, and to the people who work here. But the thing is, there are tears filling his beautiful grey eyes. I didn't think it was possible to find love on this show, and I was wrong. They cut back to Mark Davenport in the studio. He stands on stage, wearing his bespoke suit, his face somehow grim and optimistic at the same time. It's been quite a journey up until this point, and I'm sure it hasn't been the journey you were expecting. To be honest, we weren't expecting it either, but that's the thing about love, isn't it? He says with a glimmer of his eye. Sometimes it comes when you least expect it. When it comes down to it, this show is about helping people reach their happy ever after. Will our star find that? Tune in next week for the heartbreaking finale you won't want to miss. Bitch, chuck us the channel. Chuck us the channel number. I got a VPN ready. I know this is America. I will tune in live. I would pay a lot of money to see this. Would I actually? No, I'd probably in a legitimate, if I didn't read the book first and know what was going on. But if I was watching this week to week, I'd be so there. I'd fly out. To watch live. They had an audience, I'd be paying money. Sorry, I'm just quickly having a quick little heart attack. Wow. Everyone looks back at him, and Dev isn't quite sure where to start, so he starts with the obvious. How did you get Maureen to do this? Everyone looks back at him, and Dev isn't quite sure where to start. How did I read that again? Skylar answers, Maureen Scott is no longer affiliated with Ever After. Dev sits back. Wait, what? Yeah, we killed her. That would have been good. Actually, this is even better. I love this. Funny thing about discriminating against someone based on their sexuality, Parisia says humorlessly. It's illegal. Maureen forced Charlie to get engaged to a woman after he came out to her. Was illegal. Charlie called me after that happened in Macon, and we lawyered up. Maureen thought that because Charlie signed a contract, she could force him to stay closeted, Jules adds. But the network saw things differently. When Parisia filed a discrimination lawsuit, they quickly decided it was best to sever their working relationship with Maureen. Obviously it's not funny for the fact that, she was doing these awful things to Charlie, but it's funny that, fuck her. I know she's still getting, paid out and shit, but, fuck that bitch. She shouldn't have done that. Run a gay love story. That is the best fucking thing. And I think she is still fucking blind because the ratings would have gone through the roof anyway. What is it? She dug her bed and she will lie in it? Or something, some shit like that. She deserved it. She got her comeuppance. This chapter's, I am all over the place. This is too much. This is a lot going on for me. But yeah, we continue. So they kind of, they're at the point where they're we need to figure out we need your, Dev, give us some thoughts. And we discovered you've been living in a social media freehole, Ryan continues. And we figured out we had to try and show you, to see if there is any chance I might what? Dev, Parisia says. Charlie put it all on the line. He fought for a season of television that tells the truth, and the last thing the world saw was you leaving him in Macon without a word. I don't know how to say the... I'm sorry, I've said it 8 times. I didn't think it came up that much. I don't know. I should have looked it up. He had his heart broken. She sounds so hurt, and he understands it's because he hurt the person he loves most in the world. And loving someone means carrying around that hurt too. But the season isn't over. There is still the live finale, still a chance for you to make this right. The real reason they flew across the country is finally clear. They have a show to make. A story to wrap up, a fairy tale that needs a happy ending. Dev thinks about the season he just watched, and about the Charlie-shaped sinkhole in his chest. He thinks about the house in Silver Lake, the plants by the window, Charlie in a soft sweater. He thinks about the bed where the sheets would always smell like oatmeal body wash, and a life that's always filled with him. On the end of the table in his parents' living room are the serving platter and bowl, flown halfway across the world by Charlie Winshaw. Then he thinks about who he was 3 months ago and who he is now and who he wants to be. And I'm sorry, but I can't. He turns and walks out of the living room. It's not the end of the chapter, but this is Dev. Pull yourself together. Go love that man. It's selfish of me, but Jules and I feel would get along very well. Me and Jules and Parisia, I think would be absolute besties because we're all very similar. And we'll go into what Jules says next, but I didn't really pick up on this till I was rereading it. That's the beauty about rereading this, and getting to do it again, is I pick up certain things that I didn't really think of the first time. The real reason they flew across the country is finally clear. They have a show to make, a story to wrap up, a fairy tale that needs a happy ending. Is Dev, really thinking that? That's the reason they've come here? Because they have to finish their show? Whether they know whether he says yes or not, the show's going to go on either way. It's either going to be really sad or a really happy ending for their show. But Dev should know whether he agrees or not or whatever, that the show has to happen. It's got a budget, blah, blah, blah. The show is going to happen. They are not here for that. They are here because they all actually fucking care about you. I know you're learning to know you deserve the love, but you've also got to know you deserve the love from your friends as well, and that people care. You deserve care, and you deserve a whole lot more than just love. You need to start listening to these people and know that they actually care for you, and they want to push past fun Dev, and they're here because they want you to have the love that you're learning that you deserve. So we'll go into Jules ready to friend it the fuck up, best friend, get in there. So we've got two final bits, and it's Jules has come into his room and she's ready to get this done. I like her commitment here. She stops him. I don't want you to apologize, okay? I get it. You weren't in a healthy place, and you had to do what was right for you. And the reality of our friendship is, you always keep me at a distance. You never really let me in. I've been talking to my therapist about it. He raises his eyebrows shoot up. Yes, I have a therapist. Everyone has a fucking therapist. She snaps. I'm not exactly good at letting people in either. I don't like to be vulnerable with anyone. But I'm worried you never let me see the real you because you're afraid I wouldn't love all of you. Jules' words cut as deep as the image on the magazine cover, exposing the fear he carries around with him. Always. Still. In case I'm right, I want to make sure you know that I love you for who you are, and when you are a cowardly asshole who bails on his friends for 3 months. She says in a very Jules Lou fashion. Then she does something very un-Jules. She reaches for both his hands, gathers them to her heart, right over the face of someone. You are deserving of my love, just as you are. You are deserving of his love too. He starts crying again, but Jules doesn't let go of his hands, doesn't let him hide the evidence of tears. You deserve the love you've been orchestrating for other people for the last 6 years. You deserve a happily ever after. And I think, to some point, I agree with Dev, which is strange. It's coming out in the last second here from me. We're throwing a curveball. I think the happily ever after is dumb. And I think, that whole notion in his learning that he doesn't like it and happily ever after is toxic and the concept doesn't work. I do not think happily ever afters exist. But I do think it is dumb that people keep saying it. I think this is where Jules and I would differ. I would be like, I don't know if you are going to have a happily ever after with him. I don't know if you will ever have a happily ever after, but I think that Skylar quote is still coming back to my mind. If you love him now, that's enough. That's to know that you love him enough to want to be with him forever. Whether it goes happy or, whatever, you love him, and that's the important thing. I think that is the key and I don't know, that's the crux of it all. And happily ever, they put so much I don't know, with that statement, there's so much pressure and thought on that. It's just that everything will go well forever. Everything's not going to go well forever. You guys are probably going to fight again. Things are going to, everything's always turbulent. But the point is that you love him and he loves you. And that love is so strong that, you feel a gap in your chest. These are the things we have to focus on. But Jules kind of starts talking about the other... She goes, let's talk about the other contestants who have finished the show. And he's like, they all break up. And she's like, yeah, but let's talk about the ones that worked. And she's like, they're all kind of the same. And he's like, And we get this final bit of this chapter. Ever After is good at selling one very particular kind of love story. Most of the people who come on our show are all the same. But Charlie, just the sound of his name make Dev's heart punch into his throat. Someone like Charlie should have never come on our show, but he did. He's so special. I know he is, Dev bristles. He's the most incredible person I've ever met. She looks up. She looks like she wants to slap him across the face. So what's the fucking problem? What if I'm like our naive contestants? What if the love I wanted my whole life isn't real? What if there are no happily ever afters? Jules takes their knotted hands and drops them into her lap, but still she refuses to let go of him. I don't think happily ever after is something that happens to you, Dev. I think it's something you choose to do for yourself. Fucking good line too. And that goes, it even kind of works for what I was saying before. Yeah, there might not you don't just fall into a happily ever after. Nothing just happens in life. You have to go and do, things happen, but you have to choose, you have to do it, you have to fight for it, you have to work for it. And there is this man who is the most attractive fucking thing possible, who is a genius, who's a god and a tech guy, and these aren't even points anymore. He's it's a small bonus. He has probably a decent amount of money. He cares about the more important things. He cares about you. He loves you. He fights for you. He wants you. These are the things. He has chosen you. And you keep thinking that the world hasn't aligned and all these things are out of your control and everything else will stop you. But nothing's stopping you but you thinking these things are stopping you. You have to pick him and choose him. Then the world might throw things at you. Granted, it could happen, but you were there together and can face it together. And when you have that and that strength and that unity, maybe it won't seem as bad. And maybe you'll be so fucking happy that you might not even notice these things. There's so much that Dev thinks is so, everything to him is very external and, theoretical. And all these things are happening, but not happening and could never happen or might never happen and mights and ifs and buts, but you gotta fucking make a decision sometimes. I love that Jules is like, what's the fucking problem? Go fucking make a choice. Choose him because you love him. I don't know. Jules, fucking A+. Fucking A+. Jules and Skylar, low-key, right? Good supporting cast. And Parisia, obviously. Sorry. God bless. She might honestly jump out and assassinate me for forgetting her for a second. But they are amazing and have done so well, and some amazing little quotes and one-liners over the past couple of couple of chapters. Oh my god, I'm losing it. I can't wait to read this next chapter. We've got at least the next chapter and then a chapter, the online one, the after the book chapter. So we've still got a couple of weeks. I will update you on the next one, hopefully before or after, on what we're going to be doing for the next book. I still think I know I had a couple of comments. I've been a bit slow replying to them. Sorry. I still read them. I still love them. Obviously, I get slow. You have your slow weeks. But I think what are our vibes on House by on the Cerulean Sea? I will double check the comments, see how we feel, and I'll let you know if we're just gonna double down and go for it. I actually have a friend who has read it, so I might double check with her what she thought of it, have a think, and then we'll see and we'll think, because there are a lot of still have the big list from when we're doing red, white, and royal blue of different things. So maybe we can put up another. We'll see, but I'll let you know, and I'll keep it because this is like our thing. So I'll keep you updated. But for now, I'm gonna go just be optimistic, but also still a bit crushed because this was a lot of emotions for this chapter. But other than that, I really do hope you enjoyed, and I don't know, excited for the next one as much as I am. But yeah, I hope you had a great time and having a good day, and I hope to see you in the next one.